The history of the human race. Timescales given are a general approximation. The first humans, Homo sapiens, were black Africans, and they arose around 250,000 years ago in northeast Africa. These original humans were little different to the black African nomadic tribes that inhabit the northeast Africa region today. The environment has not changed at all since that time, so neither have they. A tribe of these black Africans migrated out of northeast Africa around 130,000 years ago. This origin and migration model is the out of Africa theory. They migrated to Scandinavia, west of the mountain ranges running through present-day Norway. They settled there, living by the coast. Approximately 80,000 years of total isolation in Scandinavia, the original black African tribe evolved to the Nordic race, a breed with blonde hair, big blue eyes, white skin and towering height. All uniform in appearance, all the same, homogeneous. Interbreeding had occurred because of isolation and time. There was a much warmer period during the last ice age that started around 130,000 years ago, which was the time when the first black Africans migrated to Scandinavia. This interglacial period lasted around 80,000 years. The Nordic race that had evolved after approximately 80,000 years left Scandinavia before the Ice Age got too inhospitable through extreme cold. Cro-Magnon skeletal remains found throughout Eurasia prove this. The interglacial period had come to an end. The unique Nordic racial group could only have evolved in Scandinavia. The lack of light throughout the year and icy conditions are the only environmental factors that can explain the evolution of blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin, etc. There is just nowhere else where these traits could have developed. As they are so different in physical appearance to the other races of man, the environment must also have been so very different. Yes, the encapsulating mountain ranges running through present-day Norway stand out clearly as their place of origin. The physical evidence of them originating from there has been destroyed by the swelling sea level and all-consuming ice age. 45,000 years ago there was a Nordic race, and also 4 other distinct dark-featured human races: Black African, Indian, Far East Asian and Australian Aboriginal. The Indian, Far East Asian and Australian Aboriginal race had also developed from the black African race, as thousands of years after the first migration to Scandinavia, a tribe left Africa again and this time headed east to India, then Far East Asia and Australia. The black Africans settled in each of these regions and developed into new races of Indian, Far East Asian and Aboriginal. 50,000 years ago the Nordic tribes spread down into Europe, occupying many different parts of it in separate tribal groupings. Tribes broke off and then spread into Asia. In the Middle East area, a Nordic race tribe came across an Indian race tribe that had left their evolutionary region of India. These two distinctly different racial tribes mixed and a new breed of man formed: Arabs. The Arabic population expanded in the Middle East. Tribes then migrated west into the north of Africa. From North Africa they moved further north into Spain, Italy and Greece. In Spain, Italy and Greece they came across the original Nordic racial tribes with their blonde hair and blue eyes. The Arabic tribes mixed with the Nordic tribes in southern Europe, which formed the basis of whom we know today as the Spanish, the Italians and the Greeks. The same thing happened in Far East Asia. The Nordic race mixed with the Far East Asian race, and this produced whom we know today as the Chinese, Japanese ethnic types. These new mixed ethnic tribes moved west, mixing with the Nordic tribes in Eurasia, which in turn formed the basis of whom we know today as the Slavic people. Yes, Europeans are mostly comprised of the Nordic race, but are also part Indian race and part Far East Asian race to varying degrees. People in the south of Europe are more Indian racially than those from the north of Europe. People from the east of Europe are more Far East Asian racially than those from the northwest of Europe. There has been little mixing between the Nordic ethnic tribes and the black African or Australian Aboriginal ethnic tribes. There is no other way of explaining the present day situation. That was a brief history of the human race.